Hey, listen, no excuses. No excuses. Great job, Ramsey. Super proud of you, man. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing started. If you want to on you, bro. Yes. We're gonna go ahead and get this meeting started. Hold on 1 second. 1 second, guys. Yeah. Should have the testing 1, 2. Yeah. All right, guys, let's get started here. Okay, so I want to talk about a couple of things today, and we're going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about building a business. We're going to talk about a couple of things. So I'm actually going to be training today from, matter of fact, if you want to go in my office, you can. I'm going to be training from this book today, Building an Empire by Brian Carruthers. Okay. Now, if you guys go through this particular book, you see there's a lot of pages that are highlighted, right? As you go through this book, there'll be a lot of pages that are highlighted. The reason why is because I like to read a book, and I like to do it in a way where I am highlighting these things in 2 different colors, right? The important stuff and the very important stuff. Then on top of that, I fold the page at the top. Okay, so if you guys don't have this book, you guys can buy it online. I have a bunch of them for the local, those of you locals. I have a bunch of them as well. So if you want to buy it, you can go ahead and buy it from the office. They're 15 bucks. And if you want to buy 5 of them, you can buy 5 of them and get 1 free. I recommend that you get your entire team reading this book. Okay, and by the way, 15 bucks is what the books go for when you buy it online. So let me see here. Let me turn to this page. We're going to talk a little bit about what leaders do. And we're also going to talk about, let's see if I can find this. Here we are. Motivate Your Empire is the chapter 5. So I'm going to talk about some of the attributes of what leaders do. Now, even if you do not have a team, you want to assume and act as if you already have a team. So be the leader from day one, because it also takes a leader to build a successful, thriving business, right? You are leading customers to go solar, right? You are leading consultants to build a business. You are leading by example. There's a lot of things that a leader does. So in this book, we talk about leadership versus management on this particular page, right? So I'm going to get into this page 191. So I'm going to get into some of these things. Here is a list of what leaders must do. By the way, the gentleman that wrote this book is worth over $40 million. He's got over 250,000 consultants in his organization and worth over 40 million bucks. Your network determines your net worth, right? So he's actually a friend of mine. Okay, he was a mentor of mine since 2003. I've learned a lot of things from this gentleman. So I'm just taking the fundamentals of the book, and this is information that we're going to train on today, is stuff that you could also apply to your everyday life and your business. So list of things that leaders must do. Keyword must. Leaders must solve problems. How many times do we talk about we get paid based on the size of the problems that we solve? You got to ingrain these philosophies and this mindset into your mind over and over. You are a problem solver. We talked about a mentor factory. What did I say? One of the slides was, you don't have to, you get to. A top mentor philosophy, a top mentor mindset, and you guys that are on the Top Mentor Academy, the training that I created, the Top Mentor Academy, you know, if you've already gone through some of those modules where I talk about this, you don't have to, you get to solve problems. You get to deal with cancellations. You get to deal with problematic files or even people. You don't have to, you get to. Why? Because that makes you that better leader. That makes you more resilient. That gives you that experience, right? So number 1 is solve problems. I'm not going to get into that too much in detail because I train on that all the time. Number 2, turn challenges into positives. Turn challenges into positives. For example, perfect example of this was here in California, NEM 3.0 kicked in. NEM 3.0 kicked in, and a lot of people were losing their stuff. A lot of people were running around like chickens with their head cut off. Oh my goodness, now it's not going to make sense. And then we settled down and we realized, what is a solution? What are the best solutions for NEM 3.0? Oh, the leases, the free battery. Let's look at the numbers. Let's learn this. Then we realize I ended up recruiting a bunch of people from other companies that, guess what? They're no longer in business, or they don't know, or the leadership or lack of leadership in those companies has gotten them to lose all these people. Or they didn't even offer leases. So they're only telling their people, oh, purchase, purchase, purchase. Well, if I sell somebody a solar system, in most cases, with NEM 3.0, the monthly payment for solar is more expensive than their utility monthly payment. Why? Because they were not ready with the lease options, right? So what we did is we turned it into a positive. So now I'm going to share with you guys a little bit later the deal that I closed yesterday. And I'm going to show you guys how it makes sense. Why? Because I understand as a leader, it is my job to turn challenges into positives. See, when other people out there, the majority of the world is going to drown in a cup of water. The majority of the world will drown in a cup of water. What does that mean? That means that they're going to be, imagine drowning in a cup of water. That means that you're not a good problem solver. Here's the deal, man. Entrepreneurship is an ocean and I am a shark. Does that make sense? That's a JC Rangel quote right there. All right. Entrepreneurship is an ocean and I'm a shark. Let's get it. I get up in the morning and people's big problems in business, I eat them for breakfast, for fuel. I welcome these problems. The question is, do you have that mindset? Here's one of the biggest problems that you guys have. I want you guys to type in the chat. What are some of the biggest problems that you have when it pertains to success in your business? I want you to type it in. I'll tell you what one of them is that most of you guys may not type. And I'll tell you what, more leads and more appointments. Can we agree? More leads. And those of you guys that are coachable and have your cameras on, I appreciate you. That is one little ass problem I asked you to solve. And some of you guys can't solve the problem of clicking a button and turning your camera on. Some of you guys, see, this is Eagle School. This ain't Duck School. This is not the nice teacher. This is your wrestling coach or your football coach trainer. This isn't you know what I mean? Your teacher that's tells you, hey, talk about your feelings with me and be intimidated by your shadow. That's not JC. This is a conservative teacher that is a believer. So if you don't like that, this ain't the training for you. But I'm telling you right now, we're going to get into some stuff. Some of you guys can't turn on your camera. You know why? Because you might have the excuse of, oh, I didn't do my makeup. I didn't comb my hair. Whose fault was that? It's certainly not my fault. Because guess what? I went to dinner. I got up this morning, got ready at 6 in the morning, got my son ready. We went and had breakfast, and we're in the office ready to represent with this level of energy. Some people are at home, they got in their car, and then they're wondering how come things aren't working out for them. Maybe things aren't working out for you because of you. That's probably why. Matter of fact, that's 99% of the chance why. You could either make excuses and you can make money, but you can't make. Making money is hard. Oops, sorry. Tell Theo Luis to call mommy. I think mommy's already hearing me. So making money is hard. Being successful is hard. Being broke and average is hard. You got to pick your heart. Does that make sense? Pick your heart. So solving challenges, turning challenges into positives. That's what a leader does. Are you a leader? Or are you looking at, oh my God, I got to do a change order and that ruined your day? That just says you've got to grow. Or maybe you're in traffic and somebody cuts you off, or traffic is terrible and that puts you in a bad day. That is an opportunity for you to grow. Oh, traffic sucks. It looks like Murphy's Law. Who's familiar with Murphy's Law? Looks like Murphy's Law. Great. You know what the creator is trying to teach you? Hey, I'm trying to teach you to remain calm under pressure, to keep your emotions under control. Are you going to pass the test? See the difference in how people look at it? So one of the number one problem that people have is, guess what? Leads. Well, the challenge is that most people are not having 30 conversations daily. Some people are full-time and they barely have 3 conversations a day. Let me tell you something, man. Do not fall to the trap of social media. Oh, I want to generate my leads via social media. You can, but that isn't the fast leads and the fast money. You know where the fast money is? Shaking hands, pitching people on what you're doing, getting uncomfortable, getting doors slammed in your face, getting people tell you I'm not interested. That is where the fast money lies, not in the social media. And most people, because of social media, they think, yeah, of course you're going to find people that are successful on social media. Let me tell you what percentage of those people are. Less than 5%. I get a lot of business from social media, but you know what I did when I got started? I went and I knocked in California, late March 2020. Maximus, hurry up, Mijo. Late March 2020, I went and knocked. Because I got my son here in my office, look at him, drawing Mario. See that? I get to see my son in my office. Maximus, give me a hug and kiss. And Tio Luis will take you downstairs. Okay, take him downstairs. And guess what? Late March 2020 is when I started this business. The lockdown happened March 16, 2020. When people were out there scared, not opening their doors, they would open their doors and they had masks on their face. Their babies had masks on their face, man. In California, it's crazy, man. California, New York, forget about it. But the point is, I was knocking on doors at that time. And I had a mask hanging from my ear. Just in case he showed up with a mask, I would put it back up. I smile first, say hello, and put it on and pitch them. And I had never sold solar because I knew I'm broke. I don't know this business. And it takes 10,000 hours to become a master. I better put these hours in faster than anybody else. If I could figure out a way how to work 25 hours a day, doggone, I'm going to work 25 hours a day, and I'm not going to make excuses, and I'm certainly not going to feel sorry for myself because I'm a winner, and I'm going to outsell everybody. I'm going to out-recruit everybody in this entire company because I'm JC doggone Rangel. And you're whatever your name is. But I had no experience in solar. So anyways, turn challenges into positives. The next one, keep downline on track and plugged into the system. Keep your organization, this is what leaders do in this business. Keep your organization on track and plugged into the system. The Monday training is a part of the system. Training is not something you did, it's something you do. Showering and brushing your teeth is not something you did, is it? It's not only something you did, it's something you consistently do. You got to look at training like that. What if every time you come and listen to me or one of the trainers on Mondays and Tuesdays and the rest of the trainings that we have, you get 0.25% better? Just 0.25% better. That means that if you got on just Monday and Tuesday trainings, you got 0.5% better per week. That equals, there's 52 weeks in a year, that equals 26% better per year. Would you be doing better if you're 26% better per year? Doggone right you would. Then, and that's just from these trainings. What if you apply what you learn here, you go out there and you're actually dealing with the customers, you're dealing with the prospects, you're closing deals and you're overcoming problems. Now you could become 50% better for the year. What happens when you compound that for 5, 10 years? Those of you guys at Mentor Factory remember heard me saying 5 years to make life fair. It takes 5. If you ever felt life wasn't fair, it takes 5 years of you leaving the old you in the past and being the new you now. Next one, they promote calls, events, and promotions. In this business, you got to be able to promote not only to your organization, but to your customers. I got an appointment with a customer because I said, hey, last month, the end of the last month, I text like 7 customers. Today is a last day for the free battery. Then I promoted it in my training here last week, last Monday. Okay, guess what happened on Monday? I ended up closing 2 solar deals. One of them was a customer that replied back. The other one was a consultant who he assigned me as a mentor. He called this customer, said, hey man, I know you're on the rope about solar. Today's the last day to get the free battery. If you want, we would love to get on a phone call with you. Again, we have something special for you. We don't want you to miss on this opportunity. I closed 2 deals that day because of that. Why? Because I understand that one of the top paying skills in this business is being a promoter. Most people, however, are announcers. So how many of you guys are going to the convention in September next month? Show your hands or type in the chat. Let me tell you something. How many of you guys want to get there because you want to be successful, but you're finding it tough to get there? I want you to raise your hand or put it in the chat. I want you to say, that's me. If you want to get there, but you're finding it tough to get there, I want you to raise your hand and put it on the chat. Okay, so first of all, congratulations to all of you who have already made the commitment to go to this meeting, to this event. In my opinion, the most important events of the year are the convention, okay, and the Mentor Factory. The Mentor Factory is gone. It's done. The next one is a convention. My recommendation, this is coming from somebody who obviously has credibility in this business, right? Nearly 300 sold deals. My team's doing about 200 to 300 deals per month, okay? I would say you do what you've got to do. Sell your PlayStation 5, sell some shoes, sell some stuff on OfferUp. Do what it takes because of the information you're going to get there, the example that you're going to set, the story that you're going to have. Because let's say right now you're in that bad situation. One day you're gonna have people in your organization that are gonna say, hey, listen, I want to make it, but I can't. And you're gonna be able to be relatable and say, check this out. When I couldn't, here's what I did. And because of that, here's what has transpired. But what if you don't make that effort? And somebody comes to you and tells you that I can't because it's a little bit tight financially. If you were in the position where it was tight for you financially, you couldn't do it. Guess what? How can you sell them when you didn't even do it yourself? I'm telling you, do your best. Sell some stuff, get to the event. If you can't afford to get to that event, you can't afford not to get to that event. So we're going to move on to the next one. I have to switch it. Oops. One second. All right. Testing 1, 2. Okay, good. I had to turn off my phone because it's about to die. So here we are again now. Okay, so they promote events and calls and promotions. They run contests for their team. That is an important one right there. I've done that. I don't do that enough, but as I'm reading this, I am learning some stuff and I'm relearning some stuff. The next one, they help people set goals. I do that every single week. I just had a mentor session with Michael last week. I think it was Friday or Thursday, right, Michael? And we had a mentor session here because he bought my Top Mentor Academy and I offered them at the Mentor Factory a 30-minute mentor session. I did that. But I also did that with the gentleman that got his sale yesterday. Last week, we did his mentor session. We did his game plan interview. We set some goals. His first sale was supposed to be done, okay, by September 1st. We got it done yesterday, right? We're about a month ahead. So setting goals with your team, inspiring and motivating stories. So leaders must have inspiring and motivating stories. Tell inspiring and motivating stories. And it's not just your story. It's your people's stories. That's why we have testimonials, right? As a leader, it's your job to get your act together. You got to teach the how-tos as a leader. How-tos. You go to the Fast Start training. You go to teamfreedomtraining.net. A lot of how-tos are there. I train on how-tos all the doggone time, but I'll tell you what. How-tos are not nearly as important as training your people, their mindset. I have somebody told me a long time ago, he says, JC, man, ever since you started working with those guys, they brainwashed you. You're brainwashed. You know what I told them? I said, you know what? Thank God they did. I needed a good brainwashing. I used to think like you. I used to think that I'm going to just live a comfortable, not get outside of my comfort zone, tippy-toe around life just so I could get to the grave safely. I said, no, thanks. I got desires and I got people that I got to help. Life isn't just about get up in the morning, right? Monday morning, and go fight traffic, punch a clock, and then fight traffic and get home, and then do that again, right? Homework, homework, homework. I stopped doing homework in high school, man. Right? I said, for me, I want to retire my mom. I want to donate to my church. I don't want to have an abusive relationship with my alarm clock. Does that make sense? Snooze. Shit, I got to snooze. I don't want to have an abusive relationship with my alarm clock. I will imagine fighting traffic and punching a clock, fighting traffic. That's why so many people are so angry. They're fighting and punching all day long. I said, if that's what you want for you and that's what makes you fulfilled and happy, God bless you, bro. I'm not judging you, but that's not what I want. I want to have 6 Saturdays and 1 Sunday. And if there's people that could achieve that, I could achieve that. So guess what? I'm going to go out there and figure this thing out. So we teach the how-tos, but the mindset is the most important thing. If you have the right mindset, you're going to go figure out the how-tos. I guarantee it. If you have the right mindset, you're going to go work your 9 to 5 and work your business 5 to 9. But if you have a piss poor mindset, excuse language. If you have a poor mindset, you're going to say, oh man, you know what? I had a long day at work. I'll just do it tomorrow. Had a long day at work. I'll just do it tomorrow. No. See, last time I checked in the calendar, there was Monday, there was Tuesday, all the way through Sunday. The day someday doesn't exist in the calendar. That's most people's life. You realize that. Someday I'm going to get out of debt. Someday I'm going to take my family on vacation. Someday we're going to do this. Someday we're going to buy that new house. Someday I'm going to spend more time with my kids. Someday, until they run out of days. And then one day comes and they're laying in their deathbed wondering what happened to all of those days. Oh, I didn't take enough chances. I wanted to play it safe. You know what I mean? I didn't want to, veer off and be different. Man, heck no. No way. I wanted to be my son's hero. Like a year ago, I say, son, what do you want to do when you get older? He says, I want to be a solo profession. I said, really? Why is that? He says, because I want to be like you, daddy. Life goal, check. Bucket list, check. Right? I want to do that for them. He says, because, I want to be the boss one day. He sees how we're going to Hawaii next month for a week. And we're taking my mother-in-law and my mom and obviously my wife and our 2 kids. We're able to do stuff like that thanks to this business. And guess what? Everybody has the exact same opportunity here. There's not one person that's paid more money than somebody else in the comp plan. Everybody's the same comp plan, same opportunity. Let's go. Let's keep it moving. A leader must read personal development books and promote the same. A leader must work on his or her personal development daily and promote to others to do the same. The next one, I'm reading from one of the books that I read every morning. Okay. The next one, be a financial example for being smart with their money. I think that goes without saying. Be smart with your money, man. I'm not going to get into too much detail about that, but here's the thing. My expenses from 2020, when I was broke, busted, and disgusted, my expenses from now have gone up by about $1,500. You know why? It's his office. Actually, no. They've gone up because of my assistant. They've gone up a couple $1,000. I added an assistant and I added an office, but my income went like this. My expense went like this. Did I get a more fancy car? No, nothing wrong against fancy cars. I'm just sharing my experience. Does that make sense? Be smart with your money. They need to build team culture, which is what we do through these trainings and through events. Never fracture from the upline or system. Don't fracture away from the upline or system. These aren't my words. These are not my words. This is a $40 million worth guy building an empire. If you don't have this book, you should get this book. Always edify and thus get edified. Edify the leadership. Edify the people that you're working with. They'll edify you back. When I recruit somebody, I edify Mr. Jonathan Brunasso, Mr. Charles Thompson, or some of the people in my organization. I'm always edifying, talking about how great other people are. And that will edify you as well. And that is important in team building. Allow themselves to be led. Leaders allow themselves to be led. Even Michael Jordan had a coach, it says. Okay? Be responsible, be accessible, be reliable, be empowering, be caring. They track their business and they know their numbers. Oh, that is key. How many people did you talk to last week? How many people told you no? How many sales, how many meetings, presentations did you do? Do you know your numbers? Are you tracking your numbers? Do you know your numbers?
How many doors, if you're door knocking, how many doors are you going to knock this week? And if you're consistent with that, you should know, okay, for every, let's say, for example, 100 doors, I get this many bills and this many appointments. If you've been doing that a long time and you don't know what those predictable numbers are, you're not really serious about your business. If you want to be a leader, you need to know your numbers. Okay. Track their organization's business goals. They don't want to be a follower, and they're in pursuit of mastery. In pursuit of mastery. Let's go. Become a better speaker. Leaders focus on becoming better speakers. And how do you do that? Through calls, through one-on-one meetings, through weekly meetings, through Zoom presentations. You want to focus on becoming a better speaker. Bottom line, you want to become a better speaker, start speaking in public, even if it's via Zoom. Start getting, not only that, it is the way that you are perceived by your organization. And if you're on social media, by social media, trust me, when I post stuff, I got somebody reached out to me and says, hey man, I've been looking into power, and then a couple of people reached out to me, but your social media presence, then I started looking at your stuff. I want to sign up with you. But I guess what I post up was speaking on stage, speaking at real estate offices and doing things like that. I am in it to win it. I am showing it. It's very important that you as a leader have a go to become a better speaker. And I'm going to be doing a speaker training soon. Recognize others for their accomplishments. Very important. Recognizing others for their accomplishments. Giving away credit and accepting the blame. That is a big leadership key. Giving away credit and accepting the blame. Very often you'll hear me say, and you know what, guys? I take responsibility for that. This should have been done. It didn't get done. My bad. I should have trained on this, or I should have trained on that, or, you know, whatever the case may be. As a leader, you want to give away the credit and accept the blame. Not get complacent. That's another one. Raise a lid of their team. Sit in the front row at events and not stand in the back being cool. Woo! That one hits some people on this one. When it comes to the events, are you the cool guy because you make 6 figures plus? And you're like, I'm sure JC will make an exception for me to stand in the back. You know what that tells me? I'm not saying that this is what you're thinking, but here's how I picture that person. I am one of the assets in this team and in this company, so therefore I should be able to stand in the back and let the rest of the peasants, the regular people, sit down. I'm a leader. That's bullshit. You should sit, when you come to those events, you should sit, plant yourself on that chair. Why do I say plant yourself? Somebody put in the chat. Those of you guys that were a Mentor Factory. Why do I say plant yourself on that chair? Anybody? While I go to the next one. Because plants do not move. That's right. I tell people, plant yourself on that, right? This very tables. I got people come here and make phone calls and say, you plant yourself on that, you don't get up until you've made 50 phone calls to realtors. Plants don't move. You plant yourself on that chair. Don't get distracted with social media. This isn't time to look at Instagram or Facebook. This is a time for you to smile and dial, make phone calls. Let's go. They help make things happen. They help make things happen. They help their people figure out Sonova, figure out how to design a proposal, figure out how to do a ground mount. Very often, here's one thing that I am in the habit of. Last Friday, I was in this very office teaching somebody how to enter a lead on Sonova. I said, let me record this interaction because I'm teaching you, but I'm going to record it so I can teach others when I'm not around. We make things happen. They communicate massively. One thing I do is I communicate massively through my CRM. A lot of you guys receive my text messages every single week, right? Through my CRM. They connect massively. Okay. So I'm going to get into here a quick system that I've developed that I've shared with you guys quite a bit. And it is the 8-point system. This is a part of the system. So one of the things that we talked about here is connecting to the system, right? Connecting to the system and not veering away from the system. So the 8-point system is 8 points that, and this could be done by part-time people. As a matter of fact, full-time people, you should be doing a lot more than this. 8 points that you generate daily. So 8 points that you generate daily, watch. I'm going to click on here. Mentor Factor already happened, so we're going to skip to the 8-point system. So here we go. 8-point system. Attend the training or opportunity. Congratulations, all of you guys got 1 point. What if you duplicate this in your organization and you get your organization and yourself to focus on generating 8 points daily? Some of you guys don't have enough leads because you don't have enough of the right activity. Some of you guys claim that you don't know what the right activity is. Great. I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you a system on how you could generate that activity. Training, it's an absolute must. 1 point. Personal development, 1 point. So you attend this training, you get a point. You do some personal development later. Maybe it's a podcast you listen to. Maybe it's a book that you read. That's another point. You got two of the 8. Every hour of prospecting is 1 point, whether that's calling, whether that is door knocking. Every hour of consistent prospecting is 1 point. So for those of you guys that door knock for 4 hours a day, you just got 4 points for the simple act of door knocking. Every time you prospect somebody, follow up or do a 3-way call. So let's say I prospect Bill. I meet Bill at the mall or something, and I prospect him. And I say, hey, Bill, you're the sharpest person I've seen all day, brother. Well, I don't know his name. If I met him at the mall, right? I say, hey, excuse me, sir. I just wanted to say, man, you're the sharpest guy I've seen all day. What do you do? Right? And let's say Bill responds to me, right? Oh, thanks, man. Think about it. I just paid him a compliment. Hey, thanks, man. Yeah. Let's say he tells me he's in real estate. That's awesome, man. I could have guessed that because you're very sharp. By the way, listen, I'm actually in the solar industry and we work with a lot of realtors. Have you ever considered adding solar to your portfolio? I don't care if he says yes or he says no. I just prospected him. Guess what? I got 2 points. It could be a homeowner, right, that I have my business card to, right? I prospected them, 2 points. Every time you do a follow-up or a 3-way call, that equals 2 points as well, okay? Every time you get a utility bill, that equals 2 points. Every time you get an ambassador, that equals 3 points. You go to your networking group like BNI or Chamber of Commerce or something of the sort, 3 points, right? Every time you present the business opportunity to somebody, 4 points, even if you use third party. So let's say prospect Bill. I got 2 points for prospecting him. Then I get him to get on the Monday 5 o'clock live webinar, or I get him to watch a pre-recorded webinar. I got 4 points, regardless if he signs up or not. If you tag a mentor and schedule an appointment with a homeowner, right? That's 4 points. If you get a sale or a recruit, it's 5 points. So check this out. Let's say I prospect Bill at the mall and I get his information. I got 2 points for that. I get him on the 5 o'clock webinar. I got 4 points for that. And I sign him up as a recruit. I got 5 points for that. That means that today I generated a total of what? 11 points. Why? Because I'm just following the system. So here's a question. What if you had 10 people on your team generating 8 points daily, 8 points every single day, 10 people on your team generate 8 points daily? The question is this is a serious question. Do you believe that your business would be in a better place if you had 10 people in your organization generating 10 points daily? How many people think yes? Okay, absolutely. The problem, I'm telling you right now, one of the problems that people are having is this. They have no idea how much activity or what kind of activity to do. They just don't. And the more time that goes by that they're not doing the right activity and they're not getting the right results, the more likely it is for them to leave the business. One of the things I train my new people is this. You got to make a list of everybody you know and call them. And here's the script that you call them. Here's a script to call homeowners and get the bill. Here's a script to call everybody else that's not a homeowner. It's not that hard, man. And then the script is a very easy script. It like Syed, success leaves clues. Syed's got 6 sales. After he scheduled me to close a couple of deals for him, I asked him, that's awesome, brother. How'd you set this appointment? He says, well, just following the training that you share with us in the scripts. They're great. And using the Las Vegas promo. He's got the membership to the Las Vegas promo. He's got 4 months in the business. He's been working the business 3 months. He's got 6 sales. He's going to be mentored this month. Personal recruit of mine in Chicago. What did I do? I signed him up, went through certification, went through my fast track training. Then we did a game plan interview, set some goals for him. Boom. Another person, Jeremy, the deal that I closed yesterday. Guess what? We closed a deal yesterday, right? By the way, Jeremy, if you're on here, let me know. I know that you told me you had a meeting this morning and you might finish early. If you're on here, let me know that you're on here. So Jeremy goes out there and schedules an appointment. We closed a deal for him yesterday at 4:30 p.m. He got started not last week, but the week before last, because he was here on last Monday's meeting. Success leaves clues. It isn't that complicated, but most people are not willing to do. Here's the thing. Think about this. On a real scale of something being tough, how hard is it to make a list of 100 contacts? And I tell you, do not prejudge anybody. I don't care. You don't prejudge anybody. What if your sponsor told you, I need you to make a list of 200 people, and I'm going to give you $10 per person that you put on that list and actually call. So you make $2,000. You make a list of 200 people and you call them and you use this non-salesy script. If you do that, you will get $10 for every one of those 200 names. That's $2,000. How many people would do that? Most people would do that. What they don't realize is that in most cases is that if they actually take the time to do it, learn the scripts, get excited about the business, learn the business and do that, it'll make them more than $2,000. Jeremy and Syed are two recent examples of people that did that. They didn't even get to their 200 names before they got their sales, and they made a heck of a lot more than $200, but it puts things into perspective. Now, are there going to be people that make those kind of phone calls and don't get any sales? Of course there is. We don't know the level of credibility that they've got. What if they got very bad credibility? However, it still works. And I tell people, your warm market is just the start. Where your real money is going to be made is your cold market. You will make more money with people that you don't know versus people you do know. 100%, you're going to make more money with those people. But one thing that I am going to start pushing a lot more is the 8-point system. You generate 8 points. So when I get a new guy that says, hey man, I've been in a month, I've been in 2, 3, 4 months, great. Let's look back at your activity. Let's look at the 8-point system. How many points did you generate all last week? So if you're working 5 days per week, you should be generating 40 points per week. How many points did you generate last week? I guarantee you, if somebody's been in a couple of months, they're not generating 8 points daily. And here's the thing about the 8 points. It's not hard to do. Now, that doesn't mean that it's easy to do. That's not what it means. It means that it's not hard to do. Right? So it could be both. Both could be true. It's not hard, but it's not easy. But it's doable. Most people are not willing to do the things that are put in place. I mean, if I were to start doing the new homeowner list today versus in 2020 during the pandemic, it'd be a lot easier for me. I guarantee you. There was people that used to open the door for me and used to look at me like I was an alien. This is before all the alien sightings have been coming up. And I'm not saying that people aren't seeing things, but anyways, that's a whole nother subject. But the point is, they used to look at me like, whoa. And I get it, right? We're in the middle of a pandemic. We don't know. The uncertainty was crazy. So I'm not criticizing by any means. But my point is, I knew I've got a wife and son. We didn't have our baby then to support. And I got a mom that I retired years ago that I'm going to, come hell or high water, I'm going to keep her retired. Even though I'm broke, I'm going to figure this thing out. So I'm going to go knock on doors. And if I have to knock on 3 times as many doors to get the same results because we're in the beginning of the pandemic, then hell, that's what I'm going to do. But we're going to make it right now would be easier. Right now, for those of you guys in California, most people in California don't realize it. It's easier to sell in California. You got less competition. People are competing against less people with their bids. The pricing makes sense. There's no debt on the credit. The warranties are better. The pricing is better. One thing I realized too is forget the free battery promo. When the free battery promo was still in, I was entering leads with no free battery promo, with no escalator. The numbers probably looked even better with no escalator, no free battery. Charge me for the battery, so no problem. Let's see what the numbers look like. And it still saved them money with no escalator. The payment was a little bit higher, but it didn't go up 2.9% every year. But guess what? I'm doing the deal. I'm always doing the deal. I got a realtor that came in. I think I said the story last week. I got a realtor that came in here when I was at my son's wrestling practice. My assistant calls me and says, hey, I got this gentleman is here. He wants a solar quote for his house ASAP. He's a realtor. He's got 3 customers. I said, tell him to meet me at wrestling practice if he wants, because it's time for my son, but I'm willing to step outside and look at his bills. He literally drove to me to the wrestling practice. And now he went on vacation, but when he comes back, I'm sitting down with him and his wife. He already saw the numbers. He says, JC, these numbers look great. I don't see why my wife and I won't do this. But We're leaving tomorrow. So when we come back, I want you to sit down with my wife and I and show us all of these numbers all over again. The business is out there, but you got to go out there and talk to people. So I'm going to leave you with a couple closing thoughts. 30 conversations a day for you full-timers. Your aim should be 30 conversations per day. If you want to have 30 conversations per day, you need to have 50 attempts per day. Now, here's where it boggles my mind. Think about this. Think about this. I said full-time people. How many hours? Put in the chat. How many hours is full-time for the average person? How many hours is full-time? Put it in the chat. 35. I think 35 and 40, right? 60, yeah. 40 plus. Yeah, my definition of full-time is 40 plus. So, but we're in that range, right? We're at 40 average, right? Or more. So let's put something into perspective. I tell people that claim to be full-time, I said, I need you to have 30 conversations daily. Let's say it takes 80 attempts, phone calls, door knocks, whatever, 80 attempts to have 30 conversations. 80 attempts in an 8-hour day equals 10 attempts an hour. 10 attempts an hour. Now, that's if it took 80 attempts. People think that that's too much. You know what the problem is? That people have been so used to going to work for 8 hours, 8 unproductive hours, that they think that 30 conversations a day is too much to do. No, maybe it's that most people have been programmed to not be productive throughout the day. Maybe there's a whole lot of scrolling on social media. Maybe there's a whole lot of extra different activities that are not productive. They're not MMA activities, which are what? Money-making activities. But I know this, when I started my business, 80% of my time to 90% of my time was prospecting. I made 50 phone calls a day and I went door knocking for between 4 and 8 hours a day. When I started, I got to mentor in 11 weeks with no sort of experience. But from 8 a.m. till about 2 p.m., what was I doing? I was firing away phone calls. From 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., I was making phone calls all day long. From 2:30 approximately to about 7 or 8 p.m., I was visiting new homeowners. And then Saturdays, when that wasn't the Sabbath, I would go and door knock all day. I was looking forward to Saturdays. You know why? Saturdays, people are home. We got to hit the doors by 9. And I'm going to be honest with you. My goal was 9. I would hit the doors by about 10, but I wouldn't finish till about 7. I'd have breakfast at home and I'd have lunch on the field and I'd have a late dinner at home. And I was looking for, see, there's a difference in mindset between top performers. I'll give you an example on a different side. My son does jujitsu, he competes, right? He trains about 2 hours a day on average. I realized taking him to summer camps and wrestling camps, because he does wrestling and jujitsu. In order to compete at the highest levels as kids, I'm talking about between 5 and up. Some of these kids, here's what the marketplace determines for the highest level tournaments. Some of these kids, their parents pulled them out of school. They homeschool them 3 hours a day, and they train 3 to 4 hours every day. That is a level of commitment to some of these parents. Now, I'm not going to go to that level. She's not going to do it. I'm going to let my son be a child. But he's going to train 2 hours a day. 2 hours a day is doable, right? 2 hours a day is perfectly fine. I'm not going to homeschool them and then have them train 3-4 hours every single day. No way, Jose. Now, certain camps, we'll make an exception for certain camps. My point is this. What the market dictates for the top performers is different than what most people are used to. Most people think that, oh, I put in 8 hours today. No, you didn't. You put in about 2. You put in maybe 3 hours of real work. And you're wondering how come the 8 hours is not generating the results, because you're not actually, and I'm not saying that this applies to all of you guys here. I'm saying some people, they're used to putting, because at work, oh, I put it, let's face it, let's be honest. At most jobs, you work just hard enough so you don't get fired, and your boss pays you just enough so you don't quit. Let's be real. Okay? I ain't your boss, neither is Jonathan Budd. You are your damn boss. The problem is that you're doing the same shit to you as if you were a boss. I'm gonna work just hard enough so I don't get fired. So what? So you don't fire yourself? This is your business. You want to separate yourself from other people? You got to start thinking of productivity, not simply activity. Oh, I'm designing this sheet so I could get leads. Last Friday, I had my assistant Jessica tell my other assistant Stephanie, this sheet here that somebody brought from another company, because we recruit somebody from another, they have a sheet to take leads, right? They do like these at swap meets, and they got this sheet with the name of the company, and then, information, the 12-month history, stuff like that. I said, I want you to send this to Stephanie, and I want her to duplicate this, but put power on it instead of this other company logo. Guess what? I'm not going to do. I'm not going to do that crap, because that is not what I make an hour. That's not worthy of what I make an hour. So I hire somebody. I have a personal assistant overseas and one here, in the office. They handle that for me. Let's say I did not have an assistant. You can bet your bottom dollar I'm not going to be doing that while it's during the day when I could be prospecting people. I'm not going to be wasting my time on designing some doggone flyer or anything like that while I could be talking to customers or recruits. I'm not doing it. Why? Because that's not my identity. My identity is I'm a winner, and winners do what winners do. It sounds weird. It's so basic. Winners do what winners do. What is it that winners do? They do the opposite of the masses. The masses, the M is silent. Okay, some of y'all get that later. I don't do that. You want to fail? Follow what the masses in this company are doing. Look at their activity. Look at their consistency or lack of. Do that and you will be a failure. You will be a statistic. But if you want to win, you've got to decide 30 conversations daily. Follow a system. Maybe it's not my system. Follow your own doggone system that is filled with MMA, money-making activities. Connect and grow every single time that you get a chance. If you get people that already have achieved certain things that you want to achieve, why not listen to them? Get connected to the system. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. I got a sales meeting to do now. Have a good day. I appreciate you guys. I'll see all of y'all in San Diego. I look forward to seeing you guys. And when you guys get there, man, come and say hello to your brother, JC Rangel. All right? I'm going to be right there having a good time, taking notes, and having a good time. I love you guys. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Have a great day, y'all.
Gracias, gracias.